All right, I'm going to try to address a couple issues that have popped up on here, and specifically with the buy and the sell. When we look at the OpenSea data and we pull it, sales and wrapped Ethereum are actually being categorized as purchases right now. And I identified this because a specific collector reached out and let me know that the data that I was showing for his address was incorrect. So if we start to dive into that, and I started on one of these buyers or sellers tables here to look at that. So let's go ahead and open both of these. And so this is the one that I edited. I don't think that it's edited properly yet, but we'll kind of work our way through it. So this cell hash, being the mint and burn address, is actually um, right now it's being recorded as a purchase, but it's more an acceptance of a wrapped Ethereum bid. And just take a look at all the SQL here. So pulling in some mint data, I think we might actually need to handle the fact that potentially the mints are potentially also getting thrown in with the purchases right now. No, I guess not. Okay, that's good. Um, let's take a look at just the full result set of this, and what we'll want to do is probably go investigate a couple of these accounts and see their transaction history, specifically on OpenSea as well as Etherscan. And when we run something like this, we're going to get a lot more records. It's going to take a little bit longer. But just to talk through what we're pulling from the OpenSea order matching table, and we're joining in this mints common table expression, where we're looking specifically at calls to the wicked craniums mint function. We're ensuring those calls are successful and that we're actually minting some tokens. Those are getting joined onto the Ethereum transactions abstraction, which allows us to get the wallet that is minting. So down here, let's see, we're looking at, oh, and here's why we're handling the fact that we don't want to include mints as purchases. So, I mean, whenever you're going through code, especially, well, I guess particularly when you're going through someone else's code, but even when you're going through your own code later, you kind of got to relearn what you did, at least in my case. So we have our mint common table expression. We're pulling from the OpenSea orders match table, joining those together on the wallet in each one of those cases. And here we're matching on that taker wallet. But we kind of, so we're dealing with the fact that the taker could actually be the maker in the case of this being the cell hash. So maybe we need to use a case statement to handle this instead. So on these cell hashes, the taker is actually the maker, which doesn't really make a ton of sense. Well, let's see if we can go figure out that's the mint amount. Probably just go look at the transaction hash. And where's this buy hash coming from? OpenSea, that's the buy hash. This transaction hash is coming from yeah, we're not going to want to actually do that, have to edit too much. So why do we have a different event hash than buy hash? So again, here we see this wrapped Ethereum transferring one wicked cranium from this account to that account. And let's actually take a look at, we're transferring it to the account that ends in CCD8. Which is listed as the maker here, and the taker is that A6 account. Yep, okay. So that is our, let's close a couple of these. Our event transaction hash. Okay, well maybe we actually just solve this with a case statement up here. Um, so when the cell hash is like this, then we want to use the maker instead of the taker. And let's actually just edit the first letter there. Otherwise, we'll go ahead and pick what we were originally picking. And let's see what kind of result set that gives us. I'm going to order by these and say that, so we expect this one to be a buyer. And let's go look at that. Hash ending in 031. Nope. Hmm. So maybe that isn't what we want. So on this or on this transaction, we're going from this account ending in 5E. Okay, we're actually transferring the Wicked Cranium, I think, to the account ending in 5E, so that's expected then the buyer, which looks good there. And there's that 5E account. So is 12E the seller and 5E the buyer? Yeah, so it's just a swap, which doesn't really make sense, but something to do with the wrapped Ethereum. We might be able to get rid of this case now. And let's just do kind of like a check column here. And we'll call this one normal. The other thing that might make these run faster, or actually would certainly make these run faster, would be if we used a limit instead of just running the full result set, but I'm not sure. Here we go. So 9,000 rows, quite a bit as far as buyers of these assets. And it might make sense to just give ourselves a link to that transaction. That's the event transaction hash. And let's go ahead and throw that limit on there as well. So this is a normal one where we should expect to see the buyer as A8 and they're the taker. Nope, we need, sorry, we gotta change this concatenation to use a transaction instead of an address. Well, I tried to be fancy there, but obviously missing something. So let's just go look at that transaction hash. So 9E is the buyer and E13 is the seller. The taker, yep, that looks good. So on these ones, these normal ones, I mean, I felt good about those from the get-go. I just want to make sure that I'm handling both cases here, and we'll actually leave that limit. We're going to order by two ascending this time because we want to get the checks first. And if we go look at this one, so here's the case where basically we're just calling the maker the buyer. I think we're actually good here. So here, one of these more, there's more going on inside this transaction with the wrapped Ethereum, but basically the buyer is this B0, which looks good. I'm going to call this okay for now. We'll go ahead and kill this. We'll get rid of our check column. We're going to use that case statement on the buyer and see if we're doing anything else that we need to worry about. Should be good there. We'll get rid of our limit now. In our previous order, we'll go back to, oops, let's go back to our original. And we don't need that select all anymore. So let's go look at these accounts. And we might need to, yeah, we're gonna have to worry about our join too, because I think that I think that these two purchases are actually from the account that minted 160. And it actually looks like they've subsequently sold those items. ERC20s. Okay, yeah, we have an issue here on the join, so let's handle this join. Um, I don't think we can use a case statement in a join, so we might have to abstract the buyer up a level, which is a bit frustrating. But if we think through that for a moment, we basically want to give ourselves access to the result of this. Can you do a case statement in a join? There's no way, right? Okay, let's try it. That doesn't really make any sense to me, but always learning something new when I play with Dune. So we'll use the case in the on statement. Looks like we had to do like an end equals 1 or something. Let's try it without the equals 1. So we're just going to grab the same condition. And in this case, we're going to want to join on the maker instead of the taker. No way, right? Okay. So we're getting now multiple results for, oh, no, we're not. Okay. We just happen to have accounts ending in the same. It's a little fishy. I don't know if I buy that. Oh, that's why. Okay. So let's switch that one over. That's been more convincing, less strange duplicate type activity there. And I really was looking at that account that minted 160, and I think what we'll be able to do is swing over to the seller data and see if we get good results there. In the meantime, see this account says minted 155. Probably just want to verify a few different pieces of this. We have 155 mints, 6 purchases. We don't have the sales data yet, so let's go look at that account real quick. So 154 items. We got 155 plus this 6 is going to take us to 161, and we're jumping down to 154. So we'd expect to see 7 sales on this account. Let's swing over to the seller data. And we need to make a few of the same changes here. And I actually wonder, can we just use that sell hash again, or do we need to look at, like, this is going to sound silly, but is there a buy hash? I don't think so, but let's take a look. Of course there is, okay. what is the buy hash? Now again, we know there's an issue with that join. But it is a purchase. Okay, so I feel pretty good. Initially, I was concerned that, looking at this buy hash, that this was like a mint activity. But I think that since we have this clause here, let's take that out and see what we get. We're going to limit on 10, so we're probably still going to get the same result set. But um, I think what we would have to see is the maker being the mint address. And no, hmm, that's certainly a strange record there. Let's take a look at that one. It's just a normal sale. Um, so where is wallet coming from? From mints. Okay, so basically we're just saying that. Okay. This record on the join, whichever wallet we're joining with, just didn't mint any. If we threw something like a coalesce on here, we just expect to see a 0. It might actually make sense to have those, although we're doing the coalesce down here just to verify though. But there's nothing to join on. Okay, we're bumbling our way through this. Let's just try to use this join again, but basically swap it. And let's see, left join, mints. Here, our else is going to be the maker, so we'll swap these. And again, the wallet that I'm aware of is this one that minted 160. And we're going to need to go ahead and do our case statement up here as well. So let's just copy paste that with some changes. So that's our buyer here, but we actually are going to switch this to seller, and we're going to make our else be what we have right now. And we'll switch this to the taker. Okay. Let's bring our commented out sections back because we're doing our aggregations now. Hopefully it's just this easy. Group by seller. Seller is ambiguous. Yep, makes sense why. Okay, so this 160 account, again, that's kind of our guidepost for all of this. And let's swing back to our dashboard. And where we're going to go now is back to this seller profits table. So I actually think this is a really interesting table to see, who's absolutely crushing. Oh God, that's ugly. I guess this isn't really a profit situation. This person hasn't lost money per se. They've just spent, a pimped out Range Rover on Wicked Craniums. But again, if we go back to this mint row right here, we have This guy here minted 160. Reached out and told me he did not buy any, despite the fact that I have him buying two. So these 5.4 in sales, we should actually expect to see those get added to the sold column or the sold value for this record. And we want to see that bump up to 85. So we could go look. That's a good sign here. And we don't have a highest sale in this column, but let's just go look in this table because likely just going to swap out the buyer data and the seller data common table expressions. Although, let's see, buyer data. I think we actually might get away because we're using this all wallets as our join. So whenever we can kind of generate a series that has everything in it that we need, which we have here, just selecting distinct wallet that's doing any um, transfer activities, which should include any minting, although it doesn't here. We might need to double check that, but we might just let it go for now and wait to see if we get any more feedback from different collectors. So this is what we're going to replace, and let's go see. Let's just give ourselves a all right. This seller profits. So again, we kind of need to understand what are we doing here. We're pulling from the OpenSea orders matched model, and we're checking to make sure that that transaction is in this atomic match model using this Wicked Craniums address. Do we have something like that over here? We do. So are we basically just doing this without the let's see. So our wallet, we're going to switch out the seller to the wallet. We have our sum of price. We have our count of sales. That's all we really care about. So let's go ahead and get rid of all of that. From clause here looks the same. We are going to get rid of mint because we're going to bring that in later. Going right to our where clause. And that actually looks pretty freaking close. So let's cross our fingers. And before I run this, I'm just going to save it somewhere else. Let's go back. Kill those changes. So something that's just to be aware of is whenever you're editing a query on Dune, if you run it, you're saving it, and there's no way to get back the old version of what you ran, at least not that I'm aware of. So let's go ahead and just probably safest thing that actually would be to do is to use this fork button, but we'll go ahead and give it a shot because we're saving the old record somewhere else. So the main change that we're making here is this case statement on the wallet. So now we might see on that wallet that minted 160 a bump up to 85 on the sales, and we might still see a 2 on the purchases, which it'll be incorrect on the purchase side, but if we get that 85 on the sales side, that'll be a good sign. Let's just order. We had it right there, but so that's a good sign. That 85 is getting bumped up. Now we kind of need to handle the buyer common table expression in here. And assuming that we're all good here, so we don't really care about the mints because we're bringing it in separately. We'll go ahead and just grab all of this. And got enough tabs going. Buyer data is going to get a change here. And then let's just take out the mints. We can take out the whole, we have this whole case statement on the mints now. We also only need to go up to the sale count. And we'll also just go ahead and kill this. Get our comma. Let's hope to see that 2 on that wallet go down to a 0. Change this buyer to wallet. Buyer data.purchases. So taking a look on the other screen at how we have this right now. Purchases, they just got to rename this. And that's likely because we're calling for that down here. Yep. All right. 85 sold, 0 purchased, 0 spent on buying. I am going to call this done for now. There is one specific, major issue. Actually, why don't we potentially take a look at it right now? So something that's not being covered here at all, and actually maybe we can isolate these cases, is cases where we have more sales than mints and purchases. So this account sold 294. It didn't mint any, didn't buy any. I talked a little bit about what's going on with this account on my Twitter. I'm probably going to leave this for a separate exercise. I might dive into it here in a minute, but basically this account had a ton of Wicked Craniums transferred to it. Well, let's go see how many we have in there. A lot of NFTs in this wallet. Wow. That is interesting. So I'm telling you, this is an interesting wallet to take a look at. There's some big transactions in here. There's a lot of NFT holding going on in here. Let me go see actually if I can find. This is going to be a little scavenger hunt, but there it is. Okay. So the wallet that minted 300 Wicked Craniums held only 2, and then they transferred them all to this account. So if we just hover here, this is the 904A account, which is this account here, which matches this account here. So impressively, they sold all of these after transferring them. Ran away with almost, well, I'm not going to say ran away with, it's good business. They made almost 300K in Wicked Cranium sales here. The only thing that I don't like about this is we're not really properly capturing the fact that they did mint 300. So somehow we need to handle the transfers of all of these. And I'm curious, let's go see if they still have these two in there. Maybe I guess we just go look on OpenSea for this account. Still pretty happy to see that join statement in the, or sorry, the case statement in the join. That was pretty cool. I haven't used that before. We'll likely be using that more in the future now. Yeah, they've still got these two. I mean, these are sweet. I think these are really good items. They've got pretty serious prices on those, and a couple pretty disrespectful bids right now. Maybe I'll throw a point 1-2 on there. Let's swing back over to our dashboard. I'm gonna say, let's get a refresh on here. Okay, that 85 looks good. Let's just go back to our dashboard, and by refreshing that page, we should see the new result set with the 85 sales on that specific wallet. Looking good. I mean, you really can't beat looking at this data on Dune because so many things start to jump out. Assuming that you get everything right. But for the time being, I'm going to say let's go ahead and take out these caveats and just say, we'll go ahead and post kind of our progress and say that we think we've solved it. But unless we get feedback of another issue, I think we're good to go for now. Now, a couple more items that we're going to have to go over at some point is, as I mentioned, handling the fact that there is this wallet that really whale minted and it's showing up across the board in a lot of these different query result sets, but made these transfers that need to be handled. Um, I'd also like to take a look and see how many new wallets are joining within the past 24 hours and maybe just looking at kind of a holder history. That's kind of this one right here. A floor type tracker. So the best way that I've thought about doing this is using the average of the lowest 10 sales per day and just saying, you know, that's the floor. Maybe the median of the lowest 10 sales per day is better, or something like the average and the median. I don't know. I'm gonna have to do a little bit of looking into stats to figure out what the best thing to do is there. The NFT 20 liquidity pool, getting some statistics around that would be pretty cool in here. But if anything else is interesting, please let me know. Happy to keep working here and make some changes. If honestly these distribution curves are something that need to be addressed too. If we get like a proper Lorenz curve or some sort of Gini coefficient calculation, it'll help us understand distribution and min. And we could actually probably do something like that with current distribution as well. I think the issue right now is that um, I don't know how well we're capturing. Oh, maybe we're capturing it pretty well. I don't know if it's properly capturing the weighting of these distributions, although I suppose it must be if we're jumping over this hard on the board API Club one. But either way, don't feel great about these Lorenz curves, but do feel better having handled um, those wrapped Ethereum purchases or sales rather. If this is interesting, let me know. Honestly, record this stuff mostly for myself to remember what I'm doing, but happy to keep sharing it if it's helpful.